Andrea Sachs, also known as Andy, is a recent graduate from Northwestern University who studied journalism. She dreams of becoming a real editor in New York, so she applies for a job as a junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestley, the lady in charge of Runway magazine. Andy arrives at her place of interview, and she is greeted unkindly by Miranda, Priestley's first assistant.
Fashion is crucial.
What makes you think I'm not interested in fashion?
Emily. She questions her competence and ability to work under intense pressure. She blandly agrees, without realizing what lies ahead. Just before Emily gets a call, Miranda arrives at the premises. Everyone in the office starts to put things in order. Miranda walks in, and Emily meets up with her, taking down every order. Miranda notices Andy when she walks into her office and requests to personally interview her, as Emily's last two applicants were completely incompetent for the job. Andy does not look like one who is dressed for the job. She throws her fashion sense to the wind, not minding what she looks like. She introduces herself with her recent degree and past accomplishments as an editor and journalist, but without any experience in fashion. Miranda immediately rejects Andy's presentation, but Andy does not back down. She tells Miranda that she is a fast learner who is willing to learn in a short amount of time. Andy leaves the office, but to her greatest surprise, Emily calls her back. She is hired. She shares her new experiences with her friends and boyfriend, Nate. With 1 year of experience as Miranda's assistant, she could go places with her, including the runway show in Paris, thereby securing any job of her choice at any company. She has a job millions of girls would kill for. Nate is a bit skeptical about the new job, but they all make a toast afterward.
To jobs that pay the rent.
To jobs that pay the rent.
Entering this high-pressured world of fashion, Andy must meet up to the daily requirements, run errands, have Miranda's coffee on time, pick up every call that comes into the office, and take note of the details of Miranda's instructions. On her first day of work, Andy runs late in delivering Miranda's coffee. She is fiercely scolded by Emily. Andy is given strict guidance on what to do as an assistant. Before Emily leaves her seat, she introduces the book, a sample of the company's current unpublished magazine issue. The book delivered every night to Miranda Priestley's apartment, and she gets to select and make corrections before any issue is published. Andy's job as a junior assistant is to make the delivery, but according to Emily, she isn't ready for that yet. Miranda calls out Andy and gives her a lot of tasks without allowing her to ask questions. She must pick off Calvin Klein skirts and scarves for the incoming run-through. During the prep meeting with various designers, Andy laughs at a statement from a fashion editor.
I need 10 or 15 skirts from Calvin Klein.
Okay, what kind of skirts do you?
Please bore someone else with your questions.
And Miranda is completely offended. She tells Andy, who thinks she is totally exempted from the fashion world, that she is wearing things that are a product of the decisions made in that room. Andy goes home, venting her frustration to Nate, and decides not to let Miranda get to her. As time passes, Andy begins to catch up with the day's activities as an assistant. She meets her dad, and they talk about her new job. Her parents are not so pleased as well. Just then, Andy receives a call from Miranda, requesting that a flight to New York be booked for her despite the terrible hurricane in sight. Andy tries desperately to book the flight but fails at the end. Miranda is totally displeased and tags Andy as incompetent. This deeply hurts Andy. She meets Nigel for advice. She laments how she isn't applauded for doing the right things but is fiercely scolded for making little mistakes. He tells her that she has to go through all of that to be admired by the world. With his help, Andy begins to transform her appearance and enhance her fashion style, as expected in the industry. She also becomes more dedicated to her work. Her dedication, however, takes a great toll on her personal life. It's starting to strain her relationship with Nate and her other friends. She goes to the regular bar to meet with her friends. She shares these new and expensive items she gets from work. She gives Lily a bag that Miranda rejected. It turns out the bag cost $1,900. Andy receives a call, but her friends take her phone and play around with it. Finally, Andy collects the phone from them. It's Miranda. She wants Andy to pick up an item from James Holt for her. Andy is displeased with her friends, so she leaves without saying goodbye. She arrives at the venue and gets the item. She comes in contact with Christian Thompson, an editor in magazines, one she has always admired.
Centerpiece of my spring collection. Top secret stuff.
I'll guard it with my life.
They chat and he is impressed by her. She reveals she works as an assistant to Miranda Priestley. He seems fairly disappointed about that. As Andy gets more involved in Miranda's life, delivering errands on time and assisting before request, Miranda now sees her ready to handle the book. Emily gives her detailed attention on how to make the delivery, with the keys to the apartment she is required to deliver the book and the items without making contact with anyone in the house. Andy fails to comply totally. She comes in contact with Miranda's twin girls and accidentally comes across Miranda in an argument with her husband. She quickly drops the book and leaves. Emily scolds her the next morning, suggesting she might get fired if things get worse. Miranda calls Andy and requests that she deliver the unpublished manuscript of the new Harry Potter novel for the twins, an almost impossible task. Andy goes about making calls as regards the manuscripts, but to no avail. She becomes frustrated and calls Nate, telling him of her plans to quit the job since she will be fired whichever way for not providing the manuscripts. Just then, Christian Thompson calls and gives her some good news. He's been able to secure a spot with the chief editor of the novels and has the copy ready for pickup. Nate gets home, excited to celebrate Andy's release from the job, only to be met with disappointment. Andy makes up for it, and they end up having fun that night. Miranda is organizing a fashion benefit. Emily is on the downside with cold and cough. Miranda requests that Andy tags in to assist, to Andy's utter dismay. Emily, who has studied the names of every guest attending the fashion benefit, tries her best to be available despite her illness. Andy, on the other hand, is distraught about attending the fashion show because she has to be at Nate's birthday party. They arrive at the benefit. All seems well until Emily's cold catches up with her, causing her to forget the name of a guest. Andy comes to her aid quickly. She leaves for the gallery and is approached by Christian Thompson. He gives her access to meet editors, but only if she's patient enough to wait through the night. She wants this offer, but she rejects it because she has to catch up with Nate. Hours later, she meets with Nate and tries to apologize with him. Nate is not having any of her apologies. Andy is now accustomed to delivering the book to Miranda's apartment. One night, Miranda calls her in and requests that Andy take the place of Emily in the upcoming event to be held in Paris. This is one of Miranda's most relevant events.
Wait, you want me to...
And she only wants the best hands on her team. She thinks Emily isn't fit for the role anymore. Andy disagrees with this. She tells her that this had been Emily's dream. Miranda urges Andy to choose her next move carefully, which is to keep working on the runway or to move to any other publication. Despite the odds, Andy reconsiders the request. The next morning, Andy is ordered to tell Emily about the news. Emily has gone running errands, and when Andy calls her, she loses focus and gets hit by a car. Emily is at the hospital and is freaked out by the news from Andy. Andy thinks she doesn't have a choice, but Emily knows otherwise. This has always been her dream, not Andy's. Emily is hurt by Andy's decision and tells her to leave. Andy is at Lily's gallery exhibition. Lily and Andy have been friends for over 16 years. While Andy tours the gallery, Christian Thompson shows up behind her. They change pleasantries. He asks to go on a date with her when she arrives in Paris, because he will be there too. Before leaving, he plants a kiss on Andy's cheek. This act leaves Lily angry. Lily believes Andy has changed after landing her current job. Andy tries to explain to Lily that Thompson is just a guy at work. As Andy leaves, she meets her boyfriend, Nate, outside. He had only just discovered about her trip to Paris. The two argue about her choices of being a runway girl and how they no longer have anything in common anymore. Nate complains that she no longer feeds the relationship the attention it deserves. Instead, she's given that attention to a life she once criticized. Andy becomes overwhelmed by the argument and asks for a break in the relationship. Now, in Paris, Andy accompanies Miranda to every event, press meeting, and ceremony. Back at Miranda's hotel, Andy is asked to work on the new seating arrangement for the coming award ceremony. Right there, she discovers that Miranda's husband, Steven, has been cancelled from the event. He had finalized his divorce with his wife. Miranda is sober and feels for her little girls, who would face the after effects of the divorce. In Andy's room, Nigel gives her the breaking news about his promotion as a partner to James Holt's company, which is set to go global in the coming days. He says it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Andy celebrates with him. Andy goes on a date with Christian. She is getting really fond of him. After their date, they make out and end up in his hotel room. She wakes up the next morning, running late for work. She finds a cover magazine stating that Jacqueline Follet, a French designer, would be the new editor-in-chief in America's runway magazines. She's devastated as to why Miranda should be replaced by a French designer. Christian only shares his gain in all this and isn't bothered by the outcome. Andy leaves immediately. She makes every attempt to inform Miranda about her findings before the ceremony, but it proves rather worthless. Miranda is introduced to the podium to speak on the accomplishments of James Holt. But before that, she introduces James Holt's new president, someone from within the runway family. Nigel prepares himself to be awarded, but to his surprise, Miranda awards the French designer instead. Nigel is deeply saddened and disappointed by this. While they ride home together, Miranda confesses that she is aware of the plot weeks before now, and that she has done everything in her power to find an alternative position for Jacqueline Follet. The only great option she had was Nigel's new position. Miranda makes Andy know that she is very much like her now. She only did to Nigel what Andy did to Emily. Andy sees the truth about this and is sad about the life she's lived all these months. She's betrayed her friends just as much as Miranda did. She leaves as Miranda steps out to the conference hall, dumps her phone into the water, and doesn't return back to runway. Seeking redemption, she reconnects with Nate and makes amends with Emily.
Hey, Emily, it's Andy.
Don't hang up.
She suddenly realizes her mistakes and the importance of maintaining genuine relationships. Andy begins building her life again by embracing her passion for writing and choosing a career that aligns with the values she now possesses.